Oseo.
Oseo.
Cherokee greeting. Wave the great feather. Hey. Well, starting off from a little news from Indian country, actually published in the San Diego Tribune just yesterday, so I think very timely. It's titled, Governor Newsom proposes $100 million to help tribes buy land. Now this word tribes, the writers for this paper keep using that word, but that's obsolete. It's First Nations, so I usually put First Nations in when I see that word tribe. The country of Canada officially has dropped the word tribe and officially uses First Nations. This plan would be part of a larger effort to reduce effects of climate change, is the subtitle. Newsom on Friday proposed giving Native American nations $100 million so that they can purchase and preserve their ancestral lands. Did you get that? The proposal is part of the pledge to make sure nearly 1/3 of California's land and coastal waters are preserved by 2030. But rather than have the government do all of that, Governor Newsom has said that the First Nations leaders should have a say in what lands get preserved. Quote, "We know that California Native people have always had independent relationships with the land, the waters, everything that makes up the state of California." I like that. Unfortunately, we also know that the state has had a role in violently disrupting these relationships. The money is one piece of the $286 billion budget proposal. The state would have to approve the spending. We are committed to developing a structure or a process where the nations are deciding where these funds are going. So you're getting the drift of this, This proposal comes amid a, quote, growing land back movement to return Native American homelands to the descendants of those who lived here for thousands of years before the Europeans arrived. And so it goes on like that. And we get here by the last part, Wade Crowfoot, he is the Secretary of the State Resources kind of thing. And he's saying we would say in preserving the land would allow more plants and soil to actually absorb the pollution from the atmosphere and store it in the land. Nature is needed in this effort to combat climate change, Crowfoot said. So that's a good way that we can start this idea. We're right here stepping into the spring equinox, and that's what we're going to start off with. So let me start off with this poem on that, and this is by Linda Ann Sudarth. She calls it, Spring for Turtle Island. And this is also in Cherokee to say, Ageyu Galuladi. It means woman honored, because we are still in the month that we are honoring woman's history. So that is, here in this, her poem. I went out to meet the wind halfway. Something new is always turning up, though the crows complain. It should be winter, longer than this. For a very long time, I should be buried in snow. It seems wrong that the very day that you were buried, change should ripple out in just such a way. Ha! But everything blooms in shock. The spring equinox has come, and someone else will be the teller of the seasons, since you are strangely silent. Yet the master of language, as you are, now speaks in perfect metaphor. Wind, the redbud tree, the deer in the backyard. You continue, even so. My heart is in some snowy place. Whoa. Now with that, we're going to look over here to this image I have mounted up here on this tiger or leopard looking cloth. This is a magnificent painting done on a mat that's been somehow sewed or woven with grass. I brought this from Mexico. I was a art student in Mexico over 50 years ago. And what's being pictured here, that this is Chichen Itza. Chichen Itza, this is a pyramid monument there that is about this equinox. Moderns have called it El Castillo, the castle. We don't know what the ancient people who built it, what they may have named it, but it is made of grass, and it has been ingeniously sewed and then wonderfully painted on that. I think that'd be pretty difficult like that. So I was here over 50 years ago, pretty much had the place to myself, but on this occasion for the spring equinox, thousands of people show up to see this fantastic show, as we would call it. What we have here is this, you see, this is all representing a serpent. The serpent that's being represented here is called Quetzalcoatl. It means feathered serpent. It's a flying dragon. And there's also a culture here by the same name. But this actually means, the heavenly serpent, the flying dragon. And at this time, that serpent descends down from heaven into this temple surmounting this pyramid monument. And as the right time proceeds, the sunlight acts with the balustrade of the stairways. You see, these are stairways going up. And the light makes this image of the serpent descending down the stairway. And it's ended that there's a large stone head of the serpent or the dragon there. So that's what's actually taking place. It would be, sometime tomorrow, I would guess, like that. And so many people come here to participate in that. So you know that the ancient culture of Mexico is still living and breathing. And we have in a few moments, a few sequel to this image of a feathered dragon, a feathered serpent there. Other things that are featured here is inside, it's been discovered, inside there's a room, a chamber as it is, and in there is, I think it's about 4 feet high, this is what you picture here. This is made of stone and it's red. It's definitely the image of a jaguar in Mexico with a turquoise disc on the back of this stone animal here. So that's inside. I didn't see this personally, but nearby in the same area, Chichen Itza, there's a building that is flanking what they call the ball court. And underneath of it is very similar. It's open so that there is a room, but it's open on one side. And inside I did see this, minus the turquoise disc, but I did see the stone jaguar there in the same location we call Chichen Itza. The other amazing thing here in this painting, if you can see this is a tree. See this tree, and the branches go up and go over like this. This is the sacred tree of the Maya, and it's called Ceiba, or it's a K-pop tree. see these pods hanging down? These are the source, they're seed pods, the source of a substance called K-pop. And it's called a silky cotton. And it surrounds these pods, and it's harvested, and it's used for stuffing, maybe in cushions. We may have them around the house, or pillows, or even some kind of jackets and vests. So that's, you know, pretty amazing painting to have all of that. So all this way is that we are looking at the spring equinox. March 21st is the way that it goes. So I was very, very fortunate to actually be at this place a long time ago now. So the next thing that we want to try and go to is this amazing article that appeared this week in the paper, and that becomes the prompt for my theme today, which is going to be about cat, panthers, pumas, jaguars, bobcats, all of those. So if we can go up here, well, let's go up here and look at this first. So this would be my theme painting here. And you can see that this is a human female with a cat's face, cat's head, and here's the cat's moon. So that's what's going to be launching this. And here, if we look here, right here, this is what I'm going to talk about right now. You see this picture. What this is, quote from the paper, a discovery is announced of a new local saber-tooth species. And that this fossil dates back to, you're going to hear this, 42 million years. Imagine that. This is a saber-tooth cat predator that hunted in the forests and coastal areas of this area, and has been given the name Diego aluris, or San Diego cat. So that's it. And this was announced by the San Diego Natural History Museum there at Balboa Park. And it is the earliest known cat predator in North America west of the Rocky Mountains. And it was just disclosed today in a science journal. And it was, discovery was described in a research paper by Ashley Paust, the museum's postdoctoral researcher. So that's pretty important here. And we can kind of go on with that. There has been, I've seen that on exhibit there, you know, rather permanently in that museum. There's a larger specimen, so there's a larger saber-toothed cat, which is the kind people would mostly think of or see pictures of. And that animal roamed in the Pleistocene era about 10,000 years ago. But this much more ancient Diego cat was much smaller. It's about the size of a bobcat. And that this discovery is significant because it is one of the first known instances of what they're calling hypercanagry animal, which means that it had evolved to only have saber-tooth fangs and serrated scissor-like teeth in the back of his mouth, with no flattened molars to crush plants or seeds or insects. So this cat was built to survive on flesh and only flesh. Today, the ability to eat an all-meat diet isn't all that uncommon. Tigers do it, and polar bears can do it. If you have a house cat, you may have even a hypercanagry at home. We do have a couple of them. But 42 million years ago, these animals were only just figuring out how to survive on meat alone. One big advance was to evolve specialized teeth for slicing flesh, which is something we see in the newly described specimen. Nothing like this has ever been seen in animals before. A few animal ancestors did have long fangs, but this one actually represents the first cat-like approach to this saber teeth in the front and slicing scissor teeth. So that's why makes this very significant, not to mention the incredible age of this. And you know, the article is pretty long. The Dagosaurus comes from the Eocene epoch, which stretched from 56 million to 34 million years ago. So the region had a tropical rainforest-like climate and was vastly different geologically from today. What's also really particular is this scientist, Ashley Paust, has made it in the field of paleontology. He discovered, let me get this right, he discovered a feathered dinosaur in China called the dancing dragon from 120 million years ago. So we just talked about the feathered serpent, the feathered flying dragon of Mexico. So somebody has some marvelous insights into something very, very ancient. Excuse me. So anyway, it goes on about him, and he's saying, I'm trying to understand how these weird new worlds get created, and how does a group of animals grow and develop and contribute to that, is what he's focused on. So that we now can see what this animal may have looked like. And I have a whole arrangement of things related to the cat. The word or name cat, from all that etymology can discover about it, seems to have originated in Egypt. Now you know, the Egyptians, they really cultivated this whole thing about the cat, and they really had some insights. They mummified scores and scores of cats. I don't know if they built pyramids for cats, but there are cats in the pyramids. And to kind of come down here to what I have here, come on, no, it won't work. Here is a Egyptian, there she is. Here's an little Egyptian figure of the cat goddess, we'll call her, so you can see her. And then if we go down here to this piece that I put here, I replicated this. This is actually here in Nevada, and it is actually painted on the tufa, and it represents, as a painting, the cat goddess called Bast. It's called Bast because Bast means fire, and here her form is like a fire, we call fire pinchers, like that. And here is her house of the moon, that she is, you know, the sponsor, the patron of that. So here is actually a cat painting that looks Egyptian, and it may be, that we see a statue here of her. Over here, I put this here, this furry little animal, because I think that he or she looks approximate to the 42 million year old cat. Maybe even look more, you know, like that cat. Maybe just a little bit smaller because he's kind of young there. And other things here. In the Cherokee, we also have, here, you come up here to this figure, Agisidi Harawesi, meaning this is the great cat spirit mother. The great cat spirit mother. Cherokees have a concept, as I call it, that we have descended from the night of the panther, or puma, and that's called, Sohoni. So that's like blackness is her body is the other name that I try to use for that. So that the cat mother comes out of that black night, and so that's what sponsors that. And here, if you have this here, I made this as a meditation piece for me. This is the portal of the sun, and if you didn't see the face in it, this would be the symbol for spirit in Cherokee. And here I have put, the face of the cat, because that's what it means. It means that this is the portal of the sun, meaning that the sun, when the sun goes down, either at the end of the day or in the eclipse, is taken in or swallowed by the puma, by the cat. So that's how that I have figured this here. And if we go over here to this piece here, I've had this for a very long time. It's also a meditation piece, and here you see a guy sitting right here on the nose. That's actually me. This attests to my investigative powers that comes through the puma. So that's how we have that here. If I go up here, you've seen this before. This is a yaqui mask, for the wildcat that figures, very appropriately in this. And if I can go all the way down here, I do have this image figuring as a cat woman. So my art, my drawings have revealed to me the presence of a cat that inhabits, I'm going to call it, inhabits the body of woman. Human womans are also cats, felines, whatever name we have. And we'll see if we can look up here for, you see this drawing? Can you see that? There's one of my drawings. I've done several. If you can go from there over to one that's way over here. Here she is in the feeling of what I encountered in Yucatan, the woman, cat woman of Yucatan. And then we come down here and see all this that I have displayed is all, to say this cat. Now look at this. This is my shield. This is a Cherokee shield with the puma and knife wing. Now, the Cherokee have two societies, one for the Eagle societies and one for the Puma society. And mainly the Eagle Society gets a lot of attention, a lot of things shown to that. Most of Native Americans see themselves as somehow coming from or descending from either the eagle or the thunderbird and all that. But we also have, society of the Pumas. And women are also very much active in that. And it's a kind of a warrior society that sponsors stealth and secretness and things that go on at night. And that's what I have here. And I'm going to read the chant, for this. This is Cherokee. Hey. Now, this day, my fathers, my ancestors, here in this land, our country, filled with enemies, make me precious, that in any way no enemy may dare to strike me. This day, for me, make me a shield, so that none may pass through. No enemy, none whatsoever, this day, for me, make me a shield. Mountain lion, knife wing, may you shield my heart. This is my heart as I travel all over, my spirit, my life and living. O medicine shield of sacred power, Yahweh, Yahweh. So that brings, right into focus here in Native America and in Cherokee in this instance, our recognition of the viability of the cat. I want to say I was given training in stage acting, and that training was English. And English acting has very much to do with the animal for the character. English plays, now KPBS, that has showed a long series theme called Midsummer Murders, I think Midsummer Murders. Now the former star of that, I think his name was John Blakely, he said, this is a play for English audiences, performed by English actors and actresses. So I was trained in that, and then what I'm trying to say about that, if you look at an English play such as that is, and you can think, imagine, or perceive the actors and actresses, whatever their characters, what animal is in that character. That's a kind of meditation. And to speak of meditation, for anybody interested, we all know cats, we live around them or live around us. You can yourself, practice the cat meditation, because you can imagine how a cat acts. So just as the actors and actresses in English plays do, because I was trained as that, if your character is going to be a cat, then you start everything. You focus on the cat, how the cat acts, and you do everything. That imagination is personifying the animal, the cat in this case, in you. And that would be a genuine meditation. So there are cat meditations, whether or not that summons the actual spirit of that. But when you see a cat, then you are seeing Sahoni, Sunoi. That means you are seeing the spirit of the cat, the night, is what I'm trying to say, the Puma night. With every cat, that's what's behind them. And here you have another thing, to show you here. This painting here that I've done. It's a little oil painting, but it's a Cabran and a one-eyed cat. It's a little oil painting. So that'd be something you'd like to see. And here I have this figure sitting down here in a very regal posture as a very capital cat. And behind him I have, this is like a sun wheel, a medicine wheel that he has, the custody of. And so he has the power to, I would say, reconnect us. Reconnect us if we focus in on this cat or this feline power. And then I have over here, here's another one of my drawings, and that's also because in Asia, this is called the year of the tiger. Now tigers and jaguars, these animals are more similar than they're different. They're different because they got stripes or they got spots or they're tawny. But basically, they're pretty much the same, but this is my tiger woman. So I've made quite a few paintings and drawings that reveal in woman, in womankind, in her body, the animal of the cat. I think I've got them all in here. And I'm going to read a poem here. Now this is from Claudia Pocock's recent book. It's called Mangoes Without Borders, here. And this book is also available in what we call Amazon. You can also find this book there, and her picture is on the back of it. Very appropriately for my theme today, By the way, we were in the Buddhist temple today, and the Buddhists also acknowledging the spring equinox, referring to the other shore. Go to the other shore. So this follows that. Does a cat have Buddha nature? You showed up at our door many years ago, a male stray, my least favorite, an orange tabby, my most. The next day you brought your brother, a gray striped tabby with 6 toes. You were persistent. We opened our gate. Then for 20 years you laid by it like a guard dog, waiting for us to come home, greeting us when we did. You never failed to come prancing when called. Inside, you remained close, lying in our direct path, hiding under rugs, pushing open the bathroom door while we sat inside, or our bedroom door to squeeze in between us at night. Sometimes you sprawled in an open sock drawer in winter, or a suitcase we were packing. As the elder, you showed your compassion for the homeless by cleaning their faces of our other 3 strays. Performing yoga on my mat was a magnet for your downward cat. And during meditation, you sustained an equal stillness. More than cat, you helped me to see into the essential nature of things, becoming the evocative other with long, intense gazes into my eyes. On your last day, we huddled together on the floor, wove into a ball, each sunk into our dream, the cat in his tiger self, the woman in her goddess self. When it came time for you to go, you let me know. Thank you. And again, I continue to plug, for this book that has been put together of my displays of these talks. And the book title is A Journey Through the Seasons with Coyote Talks, edited by Claudia Pokwak. And you can find these talks on YouTube, Timothy Britton, and you look up the most recent talk if you wanted to find out any of these. Otherwise, the book has pictures of these displays over exactly the past year, from last March, starting at the very same time like this. And there are poems. Most of them are Mary Oliver poems, and it does also have a couple of photos of this, yours truly. So there's so many things that is understood or examined or been cultured, known and imagined with this amazing animal cat who has a multitude of variations. I once saw a film on TV of a man who had a cat hostel, and they went around and my God, you just saw all of these cats, all of them are looking different, and he said, I never met a cat I didn't like. So with that, shall I say meow?